Live from Television Hill, this is WJZ News at 11.
Parts of Maryland are under a tropical storm warning right now. Isaias is sending strong waves crashing onto the rocks along the Florida coast. As the system tracks northward, it's causing high surf and gusty winds. Some oceanfront homes on Jupiter Island like this one take a beating. Good evening, I'm Rachel Cardin. Tonight, Isaias expected to continue to scrape up the east coast after pounding the Bahamas and hitting Puerto Rico. It left more than 300,000 people without power at its peak. You can see this person walking through a flooded street, and the water there is right above their ankles. Lightning lit up the sky at another home, and high winds whipped through the streets, pushing palm trees. Let's go now to meteorologist Chelsea Ingram with the latest on the storm's path. Chelsea.
Hey, Rachel. Hello, everyone. Let's start you out with where things stand right now with the storm. We'll take you to graphics and show you that currently the maximum sustained winds are around 70 miles per hour. And Isaias is expected to continue to track up along the eastern seaboard, and it's going to be bringing dangerous tropical storm conditions, storm surge, flash flooding, and very strong winds with it as it makes its way on to the north. So here's a look at the latest track. I do anticipate that it'll likely make landfall somewhere along the Carolinas, perhaps even as far northward as Myrtle Beach. We'll keep a close eye on that. Otherwise, it has the potential of moving right up along the Chesapeake Bay and bringing with it the potential for some tropical storm force winds. The higher likelihood is going to be for areas south and east, so from Salisbury, say, to Ocean City. We do have tropical storm watch that is in place for the I-95 urban corridor and for areas south and east for localized storm surge up to around 2 feet. This could all be possible within 48 hours. Flooding, tropical downpours, and also tropical storm force winds. Now we have tropical storm warnings now in effect from Cambridge to Ocean City, but perhaps the bigger story for us in central Maryland will be the wind-driven rain. Tropical downpours anywhere from 3 to 6 inches and that high probability of some flash flooding. I'm also tracking a couple of storms that are moving through this evening and tonight. We'll talk about that in the full forecast, which is coming up in just a few minutes. Rachel?
Thanks, Chelsea. Be sure to stay with WJZ as we track Isaias and how it could impact us. With the largest weather team in town, we'll bring you information you can count on. Baltimore Mayor Jack Young is asking city residents to prepare for the tropical storm, and he says the city will be helping out. Now, Young says because of the chance for flooding along the harbor, people should move their cars to higher ground. Now, the city will offer free parking at the Caroline Street Garage and the Fleet and Eden Garage in Fells Point starting at noon tomorrow. The city will also be providing sandbags to residents tomorrow from 9:30 to 4 at the intersection of Thames and Broadway. Residents must bring identification, and it'll be limited to 10 bags each. We have all the information available for you on WJZ.com. States along the East Coast are preparing for heavy rain and, of course, storm surge. In Florida, 10,000 utility crews from 20 different states are now in Daytona. Disaster response teams are being tested as they manage an oncoming storm in the middle of a pandemic. Utility companies are already warning that social distancing and sanitizing measures could slow their ability to get the lights back on. The storm could make landfall in the Carolinas tomorrow. The concerns range from potential storm surge to inland flooding and tornadoes. In Virginia, people are stocking up on supplies. One man says he bought his first generator this year. He hopes he doesn't need it, but he wants to be prepared.
Which every time we have a storm and we lose power, it's always after the fact you tell yourself, I need to get a generator.
The store owner says people have been buying flashlights, batteries, and plywood, of course, to protect glass. New at 11 tonight, a world-renowned piano artist with ties to Baltimore has passed away. Leon Fleischer taught at the Peabody Conservatoire and is known as one of the greatest artists of his generation. He began studying piano when he was just 4 years old. He made his debut at age 8 and went on to play with the New York Philharmonic at age 16. A neurological condition caused his right hand to stop functioning, so he learned how to master the piano with only one hand. He started at Peabody in 1959. In 2007, he was a recipient of the Kennedy Center Honors. Fleischer was 92 years old. The investigation continues after someone shot and killed a pregnant woman inside a Columbia home. Police say they're still offering a $5,000 reward for information in the case. Howard County Police were called to the home around 11 Friday night for reports of gunshots. When they arrived, they found multiple gunshots had been fired from outside into the home. One of the shots struck 30-year-old Rabia Ahmed, killing her. Miraculously, the baby survived and was delivered after the incident, but the baby is now in critical condition at the hospital. There's still no word on a suspect. 2 children are now in custody with the police. Baltimore County officers say 2 juveniles drove around the White Marsh area and sprayed people with an aerosol spray. Detectives say there are 3 victims and the alleged attack is deemed an assault.
We discovered that the 2 juveniles actually sprayed 3 victims with that aerosol. One of them who was jogging, one who had just walked out of her house, and the third one who was just sitting in her vehicle.
While investigating, officers spotted the suspects. They say the juveniles drove away, crashed their car on Paring Parkway near Taylor Avenue, and then ran. But police caught up to them and took them into custody. Right now, it's not clear what the aerosol spray was. The state of Maryland has now surpassed 90,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Tonight, 553 people are in the hospital, and more than 100 of them are still in the intensive care unit. The statewide positivity rate increased overnight from 4.4% to 4.6%. WJZ is live in Southeast Baltimore. Paul Gessler reports on the concern of infection amongst young people. Paul?
Hi, Rachel. So here in the 21224 zip code, it again led the state's top zip codes in terms of added cases, 18 this morning, as cases here in the city and the county continue to surge.
Maryland topped 90,000 coronavirus cases Sunday, reporting an uptick in the positivity rate, too, now to 4.6%, according to the state health department.
And the rise in the cases and the positivity rate also reflects increased transmission.
Sinai Hospital's emergency department chair told WJZ he is not surprised at the rise in cases.
Which is understandable. You know, it's summer, I want to spend time with my loved ones and my family and be out and about. But the problem with that is if you're not exercising proper safety precautions, the spread still happens.
Of Maryland's most populated counties, Harford County's confirmed cases have grown by more than half since July 4th, followed by surges in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. Cases in Washington County grew by more than 40% in the past 4 weeks. Those in their 30s remain the age group with the most cases.
We are seeing an increase in cases for those who are 35 years of age and under. And that is a disturbing trend.
You may not believe in coronavirus, but coronavirus believes in you. The threat of it is very real for you and your loved ones, even if you don't think there is.
Maryland's expanded mask order went into effect Friday night, mandating masks be worn in public spaces of all businesses statewide and outdoors when it's not possible to physically distance.
We don't have the ability to know who's infected and who's not infected. So this is one way that people can have some surety that when they go out, that they're not going to be exposing themselves or others to the virus.
Dr. Neil Roy says vigilance needs to remain high.
I think we've become a little bit less vigilant about the basics of distancing, hand washing, and masking.
Back live now, Maryland's Department of Health reported a volume of nearly 24,000 tests again today. That is the 5th straight day of more than 20,000 tests. For now, reporting live in Canton tonight, I'm Paul Gessler for WJZ.
Paul, thank you. All sides on Capitol Hill appear to want a done deal as talks over the coronavirus relief bill are set to continue tomorrow. Millions of Americans are facing eviction and lapsed unemployment benefits after the White House and Congress were unable to make a deal. With talks moving to tomorrow, both sides say they need to keep working at it nonstop.
It needs to be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week kind of commitment until we get this done.
A major point holding back the bill is unemployment benefits, as the White House and Republicans have been pushing for a shorter-term extension of less money, while Democrats want to keep the $600 payments through January. The U.S. has confirmed more than 4.6 million cases of COVID-19 and nearly 155,000 deaths. Now the coronavirus crisis in America has entered a new phase. A new CBS News Battleground poll shows President Trump's handling of the outbreak is handicapping him in Georgia and North Carolina, as it is nationwide. Lilia Luciano has the latest for WJZ.
Coronavirus tonight still out of control. And in many places, so are the crowds. Like this so-called white trash bash in Illinois with up to 1,000 partiers as the state nears 200,000 cases.
It's the perfect element for a problem.
In South Dakota, 250,000 people expected to pack next weekend's Sturgis motorcycle rally. And in California, crowds flocking to beaches despite the state leading the nation in infections with more than 500,000 cases. This as the CDC predicts up to 11,000 people will die every week this month. The pandemic entering a new phase.
What we're seeing today is different from March and April. It is extraordinarily widespread.
And across the country, the debate over opening schools continues. Parents in Georgia protesting to get their kids back in class.
I couldn't get my job done. I couldn't teach my child. It was just too difficult.
But at one now closed Georgia summer camp, a super spreader outbreak among kids. At least 44% tested positive. After catching COVID in March, the battle isn't over yet for Justin Wilhite, raising awareness about the long-term effects of the virus.
I'm still dealing with headaches, shortness of breath, joint pain.
What is your fear?
My fear is at the end of this that there will be some sort of damage and I'll pass away anyway.
Justin is one of many Californians dealing with lingering health issues from COVID. Like him, Red Sox pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez is out for the season, if there even is one, with much speculation that the season could potentially be canceled. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Pasadena.
Baltimore police are investigating after several shootings in the city left 4 people injured. The first happened in East Baltimore around 11:30 last night on Eager Street. When police arrived, they found a 19-year-old man shot in the face. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. Then just after midnight, officers were called to a hospital in Southwest Baltimore for a walk-in shooting victim. When police got there, they found a 22-year-old man who had been shot in the back and a 23-year-old man with gunshot wounds to his leg. Investigators say they believe both were shot on West Baltimore Street. Baltimore County Police are investigating after a bicyclist was killed in a crash in Upperco. Police say the incident happened yesterday afternoon on Mount Carmel Road when a car ran into the back of the bicycle, causing the rider to fall. Officers identified the cyclist as 21-year-old Isaac Scharbach. He died. The driver of the car stayed at the scene, and there's no word yet on whether or not charges will be filed. They typically build and repair homes after natural disasters, but COVID is forcing this local nonprofit Dream Builders to change how they give back. Don't worry, they're still using their skills of building things and putting it to good use. Sean Stryker explains.
Dream Builders had a trip planned to help rebuild Panama City, Florida. COVID made them cancel that trip, so they're putting their talents to use in other ways. Dream Builders is used to building and repairing homes for people in need.
We've been to Puerto Rico, West Virginia, Louisiana. This year with coronavirus, we just simply couldn't take our crews on the road.
Which led the faith-based Howard County nonprofit to their current service project.
Myself and another Howard County teacher started talking about some of our students that don't have dedicated workspaces in their homes.
They designed and are building small foldable desks for underprivileged students in Howard County schools.
Just having a place is sometimes just, oh look, the kitchen table may be crowded, the apartment may be tight, maybe multiple children. This allows them to open up the desk, work in an area, at the end of the night, close it up, put it under their bed.
A team of volunteers are working to make 120 desks.
When this desk building opportunity came in, it was really something we knew that I wanted to be involved in.
Right now is a time that I think a lot of people feel like they don't know how to help, and this is something that's so easy to do.
This is just great. It's very different from anything we've ever done.
And after day one of building, it already looks like they'll need to build more.
We have learned that the demand is way beyond what we thought. We're being contacted from people all over the state, and so we think that this will be the first of many production days.
And we tell you how you can help them with their mission on our website, WJZ.com. Sean Stryker for WJZ.
And coming up on WJZ, from Earth to space and all the way back, how our planet welcomed back the SpaceX astronauts. Plus, the coronavirus is causing some changes at the Republican National Convention. What will be missing this year in Charlotte? And a piece of civil rights history is now for sale. We'll show you the letter Rosa Parks penned about Martin Luther King Jr. and how much it now costs. Stay with us.